بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله أوله بلا أول كان قبل وآخره بلا آخر يكون بعده الذي قصرت عن رؤيته أبصار الناظرين وأجزت عن نعته أوهام الواصفين ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب إله رب العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. وما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الذي أما يصفون إلا عباد الله المخلصين صدق الله العلي العظيم عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Condolences to all of my dear brothers and sisters and to Imam of our time upon the eve of the injury of the darbat of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. We have to cover a couple of topics tonight. One is our topic, which is ubudiyah itself, which we are looking at, and also is the night of qadr, and also a zikr of masa'ib and musibat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. In regards to the ubudiyat, we have mentioned that our actions are considered as ibadat, but the spirit that resides in those actions which is required to have is known as servitude, is known as ubudiyat. Ubudiyat means that one expresses, one manifests, one shows his lowliness, his need towards the Lord. Now, as we said, there are two types of ubudiyat. One is that universal or metaphysical ubudiyat, where whatsoever is in the heaven and earth, they are servant of God, whether they know it or not. You know, a person or a tree or whatever thing created might not have the comprehension or understanding that they are servant of God, but as they are limited, as they are faqir, as they are in need, that itself indicates, that itself dictates that they are in the state of servitude to God. The other type of ubudiyat is where one realizes it and manifests that out and voluntarily participate in carrying out which God have determined, which God have asked us to carry out, such as our prayers, such as hajj, such as fasting, so on and so forth. So that is a voluntarily servitude, a person voluntarily participate. Then we also pointed out to that there are two types of servitude, because Imam Sadiq alayhi salam mentions to Unwan al-Basri that if you really want to have knowledge, if you really want to learn, if you want to have that spirituality in your life, what is required of you is that to attend or to have the essence of ubudiyat in you. Now, what is the essence of ubudiyat? The essence of ubudiyat is also divided into two folds. One is when a person is carry out what is halal and refrain from what is haram. There is and worships God. So there's a form of a duality as such. You know, there's me and my God, and I'm worshipping my God. But there is the true or the batini or the inward or the essential ubudiyat, which Imam Sadiq is pointing out to, that you need, if you want to have knowledge, if you want to gain knowledge, you should have the essentiality of that ubudiyat, that inward ubudiyat, that inward servitude. What is that, and how one can really achieve that? That is, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam mentions that it is actually where a person sees God, where there is no duality as such, where these type of instances happen in one's life, and one reaches to that ultimate servitude where one annihilates in the face of God, which is called fana in the Irfani terminology, or in Buddhism as they call it nirvana, where one completely annihilates, right? And remains with the face of God, because the face of God will always remain. Right? So here, that's what we were discussing last session, was that when a person reaches to that true servitude, he would worship a God where he sees God. Amir al-Mu'mineen clearly says that. You know, somebody asked him, do you worship your Lord that you see? He said, you think, wow unto you. You know, how can I worship a Lord that I don't see? I worship a Lord that I see, not with the eyes, but with that inner heart, with that presence, where he sees nothing but God. And this is the highest level of ubudiyah, of servitude, where they become that sincere ones. They reaches to a point with this type of servitude continuously that God purifies them. They have shown their lowliness, they have shown their servitude, they have shown their ubudiyat, that they are slave to their Lord so much in their practices, by carrying out what God really wants them to carry out in every affair, that eventually a point comes where God purifies them. And God clearly mentions that. وَاذْكُرْ إِبَادَنَا وَاذْكُرْ إِبَادَنَا, indeed we purified them. وَاذْكُرْ إِبَادَنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. These are the purified ones, Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub, we have purified them. And وَإِنَّا أَخْلَصْنَاهُمْ, and indeed we purified them, بِخَالِصَةٍ ذِكْرَ الدَّارِ, with a thorough, with a special purification, right? وَإِنَّهُمْ إِنْدَنَا لَمِنَ الْمُصْطَفِينَ الْأَخْيَارِ, and they are surely among the elite and best, because they have practiced what God have asked them so much that eventually God raised them and God purified them. And when that happens, I mean, that is the target basically. When that happens, basically they start to have that divine vision where they see the names of God. That is why Hazrat Zainab, in the plain of Karbala, when Ibn Ziyad asked her, how was Karbala? What did you see there? She said, I saw nothing but beauty. Everything was beautiful. Although she has lost her brother, her own children, but she said, Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. I saw nothing but beauty. It was beautiful. So with this sort of logic, or with this sort of understanding, how can kufr and how can shaitan really deviate? When a person has this understanding. When Ibn Ziyad told Imam Sajjad alayhi salam that, how did we kill your brother? Then Imam Sajjad referred to the verse of the Quran that in regards to the taking of the soul, Inna Allaha yatawaffa wa nafsa hina mawtiha. It is when you're saying, how did we kill your brother, as if he's trying to show that we have killed him. But Imam Sajjad uses the verse of the Quran in which he says that it is Allah who takes the soul at the time of death. It is not you what you have done. It is God who have taken that soul. It is an honor. Although there are different verses in the Quran where Imam Zainul Abidin did not mention those verses, in which he says it is malak or malaika, angel or angels take the soul, but Imam used the verse which says Allah takes the soul. So it is Allah who came to take the soul of Hussein. What an honor, not an angel. Right? So those special purified ones, as the verses of the Quran points out to, they become to a level where they are seeing the divine names of God, the manifestations of God. Musa, after that ibadat, وَوَعَدْنَا مُوسَى ثَلَاثِينَ لَيْلَةً وَأَتْمَمْنَاهُ بِعَشْرٍ, and we finished, we from 30 nights, and then we finished by 10 more, we added 10 more. Musa said, I want to see you. He was so much involved in his worship, in that spirituality, where he says that Allah, I want to see you. Although Musa knows that God cannot be seen. Although Musa had rescued the Bani Israel from Pharaoh, and when they crossed the river, even their feet were not dry enough. They were passing through a village, and in this village there was an idol. The people were worshipping that idol. Then they came to Musa and they said, Musa, can we have a God like this that we could worship? Something tangible, so that they could feel that spirituality is there, they are worshipping. And Musa said, you have. I showed you so many miracles, I saved you, I brought you here, and I'm saying you cannot see God. But here, Musa says, I want to see you, O Lord. It's a request of a beloved. It's a request of a lover to the beloved that I want to see you. Then here, obviously, God said, okay, fine, you sit. I will show you. Look at the mountain. Thunderbolts, lightning, light after light, angels coming, ranks of angels. Musa said, is this it? He said, Musa, persevere. You have asked for something great. You said you want to see your Lord, right? Is it persevere? And then that tajalli, that theophany, that manifestation takes place. And Musa went unconscious because Musa cannot really tolerate that. His body went off. And in the du'as we recited Dua Samat as well on Friday evening. Oh Allah, for the sake of that tajalli that took place on the mountain for Moses, for that sake we are interceding, we are asking for that sake, whatever desire, that we have, hajat that we have. And that tajalli never took place again. Because every day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, huwa fi shan. Every day God is new and He's creating. When we stand at the shore of an ocean, every wave is different, and every wave is beautiful, and every wave has a different sound. God is continuously creating. God is always creating something new. God is manifesting His beauty. And here, that one tajalli that took place, and Imam asked in the dua that for that tajalli, it was unique and special. It never took place again. So when they reach to that level of purity, they are capable enough to depict and define God. Subhanallah amma yusifun. God cannot be described, cannot be depicted, as the ayah of the Quran says. Illa, except those who are mukhlasin, with the fatih lam, which we're talking about. Those who are purified by God, they are able to. So a person, an individual, a human being who reaches to the essence of servitude, he will be considered as mukhlasin, and number one, he will have the honor to really describe God, because he has seen God, because he knows God, he has the knowledge of God. And that is the knowledge Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is saying, Al-ilmu nurun yaghzibu fi qalbi man yasha. O Imam al-Basri, knowledge is like light which is placed into the heart of whosoever God desires. So this knowledge of God is not by understanding philosophical principles, is not by logic, although it's logical, but I'm saying that it's not something, it's not by terminologies that you and I can learn, but it is like that light, and Allah places that light. And that's what happens when an abd, when a servant, when a human, when an insan tries to practice what God has asked him to do continuously, he reaches to a point where God takes him. And he would be honored by this quality of describing God. That's number one. And the second sign which he will have in regards to reaching that honor of servitude is that قَالَ فَبِعِزَّتِكَ لَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ Shaitan. Right? Shaitan cannot be able to deviate that. By Lord, he's saying, by Lord, I will deviate human being. I will deviate inside. Illa, except. Ibadaka minhum mukhlasin. Except those who are your purified ones. Shaitan will not be able to deviate them. Why? Because they see, even Shaitan, be careful, we got to be careful here. They see even shaitan as one of the manifestations of God. What does shaitan do? Shaitan deviate. Allah is what? Allah is mudil. What does mudil mean? The deviator. So they see even shaitan as one of the names of God, which is as a deviator, but they know that they are not supposed to be deviated. And they know that shaitan is someone who is a staunch enemy of insan, aduwwum mubin, so they will not. So shaitan cannot even go near them. And they rely on God. That's one of the zikr that we are supposed to do for shaitan is what? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Let's come on a lower level here, a little bit lower. I don't know, some people are really scared of dogs. You know, they just can't take it. Right? I was one of them, but I've improved. I've come out of it. So when you go to your friend's house and he has a dog, and he comes to the door barking, and he's like wagging his tail, looking at you, with his teeth and mouth open, are we going to fight with the dog? No, we're going to call the owner of the dog so that the dog should go away. So it is A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. We're not going to get involved with the fight with shaitan. We'll seek refuge in the owner of that dog, in the owner of that shaitan which is gone. So that's what it means. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. So the mukhlisin, which is much more higher level, this is on the lower level I said. The mukhlisin are those, because they are seeing nothing but beauty. That is why they go to the extent that those individuals who have been deviated and trapped by the shaitan, such as Shimr, that Rahman should even guide them. God should guide them even. God should have that mercy on them. That is why Imam Hussain said, I'm not crying for myself. I'm crying for Shimr. Because of me he is going to hell. Imam Hussain being killed is what? Shahadat, it's an honor. Fustober bil Kaaba. But he was deviated. That's why Imam Hussain says, when he's on the chest of Imam Hussain, Shimr, do not kill me. Why are you doing this? Why are you committing this horrendous act? Right? I will guarantee you the shafa'at of Rasulullah, even after all of that. And obviously Imam Hussain is not going to live a couple of hours if he's left alone there, because he's gone. That 300 arrow and all that, hit his chest, and when Ali Asghar died that way, and Ali Akbar that way. And we know that how many wounds Imam Hussain is going to die in a couple of hours. But Imam Hussain says, Shimr, I will guarantee you the intercession of Rasulullah and paradise for you. Do not kill me. Do you think Imam Hussain wants to live? What is life after Akbar is killed that way? What is life after 6-month-old son killed that way? You and I doesn't want to live. Here's Imam Hussain. Then Shimr says, no, I want the reward of Yazid, then the shafa'at of Rasulullah. Then Imam Hussain said, oh Shimr, okay, if you decide to kill me, give me some water. Does Imam Hussain want water? Imam Hussain wants to have mercy on Shimr. At least he will have less azab if he gives water and slaughter him, instead of slaughtering him in that sort of cruel way. Imam Hussain is thinking about Shimr all the time. Because there is no longer Imam Hussain there. Imam Hussain is fana, is annihilated in God. It is really Rahman there. That is why in Ziyarat al-Jamia we recite to Masumin, to Ahl Bayt. Wa umana'ur Rahman. They are the minarets of mercy of God on earth. They have reached to that level that they are representation of God in a human form. They are the reflection of God. If God wants to manifest Himself in its full capacity in this material world, it can only be manifested in the Ahlul Bayt al-Islam, in the Imams. That is why they say that Nahnu Asma'ullah, we are the names of God. And God says in the Quran, Lahul Asma'ul Husna, they are the names of God. Fad'u biha, call these names. Through these names you come near to me. So it's the names of these Imams. These names are the Imams. These names are those who are purified by God. Those Insan Hai Kamil, those awliya, those perfect souls. So Shaitan can never come near them. And clearly Shaitan also says that I will not be able to come near them at all. That's the second sign of those who have reached the essence of servitude, the essence of ubudiyah. The third one is where it says that فَإِنَّهُمْ لَمُحْضَرُونَ إِلَّا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ الْمُخْلَصِينَ فَإِنَّهُمْ مُحْضَرُونَ, from hudur, from presence. On the day of judgment, everybody will be called. Illa, except the mukhlasin ones, because they will enter paradise by ihsan. That's one. On a higher level, everybody will be hazir. Before they are hazir, because the mukhlasin are already annihilated in God, they're already there. And the issue of shafa'at is resolved this way, the theological issue of shafa'at, intercession. The Ahlul Bayt interceding. Because the Ahlul Bayt or the Imams, they are representing, they are manifesting, they are reflecting the mercy of God. It's nothing but that. That's what it is. The other individuals will have that huzur, will have that present, they will become hazir. But the mukhlasin, but those individuals who have reached the essence of ubudiyah, they are already hazir, they are already in the face of God, huzur, their presence is already there in the dunya, in the barzakh, and also in the hereafter. Because, as the God says that, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ حَالِكٍ إِلَّا وَجْهُ, everything will be halik, everything will be doomed and destroyed except the wajhullah, except the face of God. The face of God will remain. So with their actions, they have become, and God doesn't have a part, but they have become within the face of God. That is why there's a verse in the Quran which talks about the day of judgment. The day of judgment is not there yet. We are going in the direction of the day of judgment. The day of judgment will happen. The Jannah is not there yet. The Jannah will be made by God later on. Right? One might talk about the Mi'raj of the Prophet. When he went to Mi'raj, he saw people in the Hellfire. That is the jihad. That is the Hellfire of Barzakh. Fir'aun, for example, the Quran talks about, every day and night we come with a fire, whip of a fire in the grave of Pharaoh. That is in the barzakh. That's not in the day of judgment yet. The day of judgment will happen. The whole creation, every created thing will cease to exist. They will go in the state of coma. And then God will prepare the day of judgment. By the time the creation is in a coma, meaning that they have no senses at all. And then the day of judgment will be prepared, the Jannat will be prepared, and then they will be raised from the grave. And they will sit on the grave, هَذَا يَوْمًا يُبْعَثُونَ مَوَادَ الرَّحْمَنَ هَذَا يَوْمًا. In Surah Rahman, this is the day. They will remember after that. Because they will have a long sleep. Because in Barzakh they are still alive, and they die, as the verses goes. They are alive, they will die. And they will come back to life again, they will die again, they will come back to life again. So in Barzakh, they are still alive. The arwah is still alive. Barzakh is right here. It's just we close this eye, we enter in Barzakh. The arwah are here. So, the day of judgment will happen, will take place later on. So the verse says that when everything will be in a state of coma and cease to exist, Allah will allow certain souls to witness and see how God prepares the day of judgment. We are talking about Israfil also dying, right? Israel also dying in the sense that ceasing to exist. All angels, all archangels will die. The ayah goes, illa, except those which man yasha, except those which God decides them to be alive, because they have the capacity and capability to really witness and see how God prepares the day of judgment. They are the mukhlasin. And then in the riwayat you have the throne, the four individuals bringing the throne, so on and so forth. Some say these four individuals are malak, some of them interpret as malak, some of them they interpret as the Prophet and Amir al-Mu'mineen and Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain, for example, in the riwayat, so on and so forth. In the tafsir of this ayah, Imam Sadiq talks about it. Now, that's the third sign of those. Now, what's the fourth sign? The fourth sign in regards to those is that those who will get the jaza, the reward on the day of judgment. Because we still in the state of duality, Jannat, and we're going to go there and we're going to have this and that. For the mukhlasin, there's no reward as such. I mean, it's like they are part and parcel of the manifestation of God Himself. That's why Amir al-Mu'mineen says that, do I worship those who worship the Lord out of hellfire? That's the worship of those who are fear. Those who worship for Jannah, those are the tujjar, the business. But I worship my Lord because He is deserved to be worshipped. There's no thing of recompensation. There's no compensation there that they will get a reward or anything. No. It's just how they are. They have reached that stage. They have become one with God. How they have become one with God? Because of the principle of ubudiyah. Because they have reached to the essential reality of what servitude means. How they have reached? What is the methodology? Can we also reach? Is it possible for us as well? And are they in that state for eternal all the time, or they have these fluctuations? While being in the dunya, yes, these astaghfar that they have, all of these astaghfar is related to that. That the Prophet wants to be doing salat or being in sajda all the time, but he has to speak to Abu Jahl as well. But he would rather be doing the tasbih of God rather than speaking to Abu Jahl, so these astaghfar which the Ahlul Bayt or Masumin have is pointing out to their human state, that they don't even want that. So they have these fluctuations of that complete communion and annihilation with the Lord. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he was in sajda. They pulled the arrow out, he felt nothing. Because he was completely annihilated in God. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, while praying, he passes out. The slave comes and sprinkles water on his face, and he says, "What did you do? I was one with my Lord. You just brought me back to multiplicity. I was in the state of unity." And as this dunya has its own implication, but still the dunya provides us to really tap into that level of annihilation and fana and unity. Barzakh on a higher stage. The Jannah obviously on a higher stage. And even in Jannah there are darajat, there are levels. That's why you have different levels of slaves or abd within the ibad in the dunya. Musa never became a student of qadr, he was rejected. And within that level of anbiya, we have imams who are of the highest. إِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبِّي فَكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتِمَّهُنْ. Right? Ibrahim was tested by the kalimat. Kalimat is a severe test, an imtihanat. فَأَتِمَّهُنْ. And we finished this test. قَالُوا جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. I would like to appoint you as an imam. Imam is the highest station and level of qurb, of nearness, of servitude to God, higher than Nabi, prophets. Among the prophets there are imams as well, like Hazrat Ibrahim, the Ulul Azm prophets were known as the imams as well. And there are other prophets, who are ma'soom, but they are not imams. So that means within the ibad, within the servants of God, there are different levels. And these levels obviously based on their ruh and on their spirit, on their soul. And while them being in the dunya as well, the dunya have its own implication on them as well. For example, Hazrat Yaqub, finally he says, Ilahi, enough. When he found out that, the wife is working, bringing food for him as he was thrown out of the city with the disease that he had. Eventually he had no food. Then the tradition says that the wife had to sell her hair in order to get food for him. He says, Massaniya shaitan. Now it's, oh Lord, my test. I have reached that rim, that level. Now please. Then God returned back to him. But when you look at the imams and their test, is something else. Hazrat Ibrahim, what was that final test of Hazrat Ibrahim by which he became imam after that?